Hello, hello! I hope you're doing awesome wherever you are, because I am really excited. I mentioned in my last Plan With Me video that I received a great gift from a very good friend of mine. And today we're gonna be trying them out because they're markers. And I can't be more excited. He brought this little gift bag. They're not from Sears. But he got me like this washi tape that you know that I can't wait to try out. I'm gonna put them here. And he got me all of these markers. Like, look at this. Aren't they beautiful? They're from a store called Miniso. You can see the barrel. It says Miniso Aquarelle Brush number 31101. Lovely name. And I don't know if they're watercolor markers or just water-based markers, but well, we're gonna find out somehow. And they have a brush nib, a bullet nib. So let me show you how they look. Hopefully you can see them there. And the bullet. And I can't wait to try them out. So I already prepared a grid that you're gonna see me doing the swatches, and I'm just gonna get them, you know, arranged by color so that we can start trying them out. Now that they're all arranged, I noticed that the number that it has here at the bottom has to do probably with the type of marker and not with the color, which is a shame. There's only a way for me to know what color it is, which is by looking at the cap, which it's fine. I mean, the same happens with Crayola. So we're just gonna swatch them, and then I want to try them out doing a little drawing. So let's get started. The first few colors that I try out are probably too light, and you can't even see them on the screen or on the paper, but they're there. I also just wanted to find out if they were the same colors, and they are, so I'm just gonna not swatch them all. I'm just gonna swatch one. And I noticed that they're blendable, and you can, just as any other marker, you can clean them out by scratching it on a piece of paper. The tips of the markers feel a little bit rigid, which is, you know, fine and good. It depends what you want. I know they'll become softer, and because of my hand that, you know, it's heavy, I know I could potentially bust them eventually. But they all feel quite juicy, to be honest, regardless if some tips are a little bit harder and some are already getting softer. And I think the colors are quite nice. I especially been liking, you know, the hot pink, the coral, which, by the way, I'm just making up the names as I go. I just look at them and I just give them a name. I baptize them, if you will, because yeah, I just want to make it interesting. But so far, I don't know if there's a way to know what their names are, and if there's a number that we could refer to know the colors, and that we're not getting the same colors. They're sold individually, by the way. I'm gonna see if I find out the price. They were a gift, and I cannot be more excited and thankful. I'm loving, honestly, how vibrant they are. These look pretty good, pretty awesome. And you know, I love everything that's blue. And I have to say that I was really surprised with this one. I know this is gonna be great for shadows, and you can see here that I made sure that I was just swatching the color once, because again, they have no number, no name, and I just there's no way for me to identify them other than swatching them, which we just did. Now I wanna get another paper and make some tests. I'm really interested in knowing how and what happens when you add water to them, and I want to do a drawing or something to see how they perform, but I also wanted to compare them to other markers, so let me get them. So here are my Crayola, and I have here some Tombows. And they're probably closer to Crayola because they're on a very affordable price point, and these are gonna be more expensive. I just want to compare the brushes, the nibs, so you see them. You can see here that Tombow has a much larger nib for the brush. There you go. This is rounder, this is pointier, and that's how they look. And on the other side, on the bullet nib, Miniso's longer and this one's a bit thinner. But it's super nice to have both, you know, nibs, because that doesn't happen with Crayola. With Crayola, we only have this conical nib. And there is another pack of Crayola. Let me go get it. Here in this one, they have a double-sided nib, but what I guess from my perspective, Crayola failed in this is that it's not the same color on both ends. See, so this one's darker than this color here. So I'm gonna compare them as well so that you see them. Just let me get another piece of paper. So here I'm using them so that I guess you see the differences. And you can see all the tips. They're varied. Of course, you know, some are gonna be more comfortable depending on what you like. I honestly like the nibs on both of the Tombow and Miniso, the brush nib. The bullet nibs are the same. This one, the Crayola, well, the super tips, they only have one tip, but you can give it a different inclination to get different results. And I'm gonna make a blending test in another video because I don't want this one to get super long. But if you're interested, let me know in the comments and I'll post that as soon as I can. Also keep in mind that, again, issue with this Crayola is that they have different colors on the nibs. Now I wanna see if, I don't know if they're really watercolored or just the word aquarelle is throwing me off. But I'm gonna do some tests on watercolor paper. The previous paper that I used was marker paper, and I'm gonna do some tests to see how they dilute with water, I guess, on watercolor paper. The first thing I'm gonna do is just use the markers on the paper and see how they react to adding water on top. As you can see on the paper, actually the markers that work out the best, I could say, on the paper were these two, Miniso and Tombow. Crayola just sort of destroyed the paper. And I mean, it could be as well the color. The next thing I want to do is leave the marker to dry and then add water to see what's the result. Well, Crayola seemed to react a little bit better if they dried and then you add the water. Tombow didn't seem like it moved a lot. And this one's probably the one that had the most pigment movement, although it looks much better from my perspective. I think it looks much better if you just add the water right after you use the marker. Okay, now what I want to do is add some water and then the marker to see what happens. Probably it's gonna get messy, but let's see. We don't know. Let's try it out. Well, I thought the paper was gonna get destroyed, which it sort of did. I don't want to touch it a lot. Crayola was better than I expected. I think these two were the ones that really make the, rub the paper off. But well, I don't think it's a good look. I think mostly they might be water-based and they can work with water using them you know, in certain ways, but maybe not as I use them so far, and not on this paper. I'm gonna do a test again on another video with other type of paper and I guess another technique. But the last thing that I want to do is just have some of the ink of the marker on a palette and then add some water to see what happens. Well, if I had to use one of these techniques, definitely mixing the ink of the marker with water would be the best. It might be the color that I chose because I wanted them to look as close as possible, but I think the one that looks the best is this one. I think these ones are old. I would think because they're Crayola that they have sort of like the same ink, but it doesn't seem to be the case, because even some of the tips of these double-ended markers have gone, you know, I don't know, they look weird anyway. And I can see here that it looks moldy for whatever reason. Does it? I don't know. You can leave me a comment and say what you think, how you think it looks. But yeah, they look weird. So I show you how they look on paper, one compared to the other. I show you how they look with water. They don't seem to be, I mean, the Miniso, they don't seem to be watercolor markers. I think they're just water-based markers, but I'm not an expert. And if you do, just leave me a comment down below. Something else that I wanted to show you. These markers, even though they're water-based and alcohol-based, sometimes bleed through the paper. And depending on what you're using and how, you know, how you like your notebooks, sometimes it's not nice for them to, you know, bleed through, goes to the other side of the page. And surprisingly, they didn't do that a lot, these markers, I mean, Miniso. And even Tombow doesn't do that a lot. And depending how you use your Crayola markers, some can, you know, do it and some don't. But it's something to consider. I really like that they don't go through, because I don't like looking at, you know, I don't like it looking messy on the other side. But yeah, that's a plus for me. So you get 2 nibs, whatever color you can find. You buy them individually, which is also great, because sometimes you don't want to buy a big package. Sometimes you want very specific colors. Maybe even you buy them according to your theme, or, you know, whatever project you're working on. And that's something that I find that's really attractive of Miniso. And they're not expensive. So I think that all adds up. So I think they're a very good option for any of us that like doing doodles and, you know, titles on our notebooks. I think they're a very good option. They're really comfortable to write with, and I'm just excited and happy that I have them. Thank you so much for this wonderful gift, Chewy. I have, you know, new markers, and that's always something that brings me happiness. So thank you so much, friend. And I think now what's left to do is just do a little like drawing for, you know, testing it. So let's get down to that and see the results. So the idea here is that I use this little cute drawing of Nezuko to try out the markers. I'm especially interested in looking how well they blend, not only how good they look on paper. Remember that I'm using paper marker for these drawings. At first I tried to print the samples, you know, with my printer, but that didn't work out. The ink just didn't work well with the marker, so I had to start over again and just use my pencil to sketch this, and then I use my markers to color them. And before anyone gets upset, I know that's not Nezuko's hair color, I know that, but since I wanted to see how well they blended together, I sort of like had to experiment a little bit with color. And I have to say that I was greatly surprised by Miniso's performance. I think I really like their vibrance. Then with the Tombow, you have to excuse me because I just grabbed the markers that I had handy. And believe it or not, I have more alcohol markers for the Tombow line than the water-based markers. So I guess, had to improvise and use some of the Crayola markers to complete the colors that I was missing. So sorry about that. But you can see here that they mix fairly well with the Crayola markers. And well, with the Crayola markers, I could just go crazy because I have so many different colors. I tried to use the most similar colors I could from the different brands that I'm testing here. And I really hope you like the results. And here we have the final products. I enjoy them a lot. This is Miniso's, this is Tombow, and this is Crayola. Like I was telling you, I'm just gonna show you what I did before. But as you can see, some parts got a little bit of a stain because of the ink of, my printer, which is why I redid them again. But I'm sure you could appreciate a little bit of the coloring, Miniso's, Tombow, and Crayola. Anyway, let me tell you that I don't know which ones I like more. Please leave me a comment to know which one you think looks best. What I can tell you is that I love the colors for the skin tones on the Minisos. I really like the color of the hair with the Tombows. And I think I could have used a lot more colors with Crayola because I know I have plenty of colors from this brand. So it's really hard to tell. I do have to say that I enjoy doing these two more because of the brush nib. And with the Crayola it was a bit difficult to color in because of their nib. And I also have to say that I got stains all over the place. I mean, right now I don't have any more stains on my hands, but at some point it got messy. I think it really makes a difference the paper that you're using, which is why in a following video I'll do some tests on different papers so that you can see which one might be a better fit for water-based markers. And this is why we have to keep in mind that the price is not necessarily a reflection of how well something's gonna perform. There's a lot of factors. One being, of course, the materials that we're using, the markers. The other one is where we're placing them, in this case the paper, and then of course the techniques that we use to do the coloring. And that is something for another video. Thank you for joining me in one more video. I had lots of fun trying out my new markers. Thank you very much, Shu. I really appreciate this gift. And just letting you know that in this case, my son preferred both of the samples that I did with Miniso over the Tombow and Crayola. I really hope that you like my review of the Miniso markers and how I compare them to other more, known markers such as Crayola and Tombow. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like content related to art or supplies and the bullet journal method, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you think someone's gonna like this review of the Miniso markers, please share with them this video. I'll see you soon, and in the meantime, keep creative, keep safe, and always be kind. Bye!
Please like and share my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you next time!